Brian Pledger founded PledgeTrek, which is a 5-year program of annual endurance walking treks to promote the positive contribution of Aboriginal culture to our broader Australian community. Brian is not Aboriginal, but he wanted to share his recognition of Indigenous people and their respect for their lands. Brian is a recognised and passionate environmentalist and a leading bat monitoring expert within Australia.
Nyctophilus jeffreyi, which is the lesser long-eared bat. And so, yeah, it's a micro bat, insectivorous. So without these guys, we'd have a heap more mozzies and midges and other things bothering us. So they do us a favour by helping keep insect populations under control.
I'm Brian Pledger. I work at the City of Salisbury as a biodiversity team leader, live out at Lyndoch with my family. What I'm doing is a reconciliation project called Hands Across the Mallee that involves a trek from Broken Hill through Dangali, where we are now, through the Riverland, Mid-Murray, Barossa and Gawler to the Northern Adelaide Plains over a couple of weeks. And that trek links a series of activities that are all designed to promote the positive contribution of Aboriginal culture to the greater Australian society. So things like art, language, association with land and many other things, because the documentary is about what I'm discovering along the way and what I'm experiencing. So I really want to share the beautiful imagery of this land, because I don't think people appreciate our arid landscapes enough. They're actually beautiful places, particularly once you have a little bit of an understanding about them. What's really great about it to me is that we get to have a few my Indigenous friends and my non-Indigenous friends coming together in this wonderful place which is close to my heart, and just celebrating our love of the land and this landscape. And to me, that's one of the best things that we can do for reconciliation, is just us all getting together, enjoying each other's company and showing appreciation for our lands.
Brian started his Hands Across the Mallee journey from Broken Hill in May 2012. He arrived at Dangali Conservation Park in late May and stayed for 2 days. While there, Brian conducted a training session for visitors and conservation workers, teaching them about the biodiversity of the Mallee and related the importance of the Aboriginal people's connection to their country.
This is day 6, the 23rd of May, and finally we're at the Mallee group walk at Dangali, and it's been awesome today. For some people it's a new experience coming out to the Mallee, and we're trying to unlock it for them so they can appreciate it. But Ian's just filling in family connections from Nadjeri people and Ghana people and telling me a few stories. It's great. And the young boys from the ALOC team at Riverland have been telling me their family connections to different country. Well, I got told a long time ago by a fella that if you want to see malleefowl, you've got to look for this turpentine bush, because you won't find malleefowl unless there's turpentine bush in the scrub. So that's the rule. I don't know how true it is, but it's been accurate for the last 20 years. Every time I've seen a malleefowl, I've looked for the turpentine bush and it's there.
Hands Across the Mallee as an idea began in early December 2011, when a group of staff at council had a brainstorming session about what we were going to do to celebrate Reconciliation Week and NAIDOC Week in 2012. I thought about a 5-year program of endurance walking treks, and I thought, one thing that I could achieve for myself personally, and then perhaps share it, is to find out about all the different Aboriginal language groups and their traditional lands that lie between Broken Hill and Adelaide, because I know about the Ghana people a little bit, not a lot, but a bit. I know about the Peramunk from the area where I live. I know a little bit about Nadjeri and Nurrinjeri and some of our local groups, but I had no idea about the Riverland and the Mallee people, the Dangali people, the Willikari. And I wanted to find out about those language groups and meet some of the people, hopefully, particularly elders. And what I really want to do is find out about their connection with country. And the other thing I really wanted to do is find out, well, as Australians, each year we have this week called Reconciliation Week. And I wanted to know if people are actually taking it seriously and doing anything about it. And what does it mean? Is it just a week that we have, or are we actually going to do something with it? It's a week before Reconciliation Week, but it doesn't matter. I mean, reconciliation should occur every day of the year, not just be set aside for 1 week a year. I just want to know from you, Dwayne, what is we have this week every year called Reconciliation Week, but does it mean anything to you?
Well, basically I implement the term reconciliation within every day of my life, and that's basically the way I see it, is coming to terms with other people, other people's cultures, other people's beliefs, just learning to accept other people for who they are in terms of not reconciliation, but just acceptance of people, and learning to embrace the fact that they have an individual path of life they've walked as well. Because if someone is accepting of you, you feel pretty good about it.
In the Riverland area, it's an area that has a lot of Aboriginal culture. Within your reserve system here, how important is Aboriginal culture and how is it interpreted?
The actual culture is exceptionally strong in a number of our reserves, particularly the river reserves. Chowla has probably more, for want of a better word, artefacts, more historical Aboriginal stuff than any place I've ever seen in my entire time in Australia. It is unbelievable, and Chowla is very, very important to the Aboriginal people. A lot of our other reserves, particularly the river reserves, have enormous amount of, there's artefacts there, there's midden sites, there's all that sort of stuff. Probably more involvement in the last 12 months via the Aboriginal Learning on Country program than anything. The whole Aboriginal involvement with our park management type thing is only really ramping up probably in the last 6 to 12 months. We all believe in this program, we all believe in what we're doing. So that's the main thing. So we're all there for the guys, we're all there to look for opportunities for them. Because when it comes to managing parks, which is what I do, when it comes to the ecological type work that we do, I see the Aboriginal people have a huge amount to offer. They knew what they were doing. I mean, we're all sitting out here at Dangali now in the middle of nowhere with Aboriginal people because this is what they did. And when it comes to park management, I think we get a lot of ideas from Aboriginal people. So I see reconciliation being for other people. When it comes to people in Denner, we work with Aboriginal people, so I see it as a different thing. Yes. We see them as a major partner. Yeah. These people know what they're doing, probably a fair bit more than I do. I'm the bureaucrat that gets the money and gets the work done, but the ideas probably come from Aboriginal people. And that's pretty well how I look at reconciliation from a personal perspective. In this day and age, you can say what you like, you can do all your different programs, you can do all the reading you like, but Aboriginal people know what they're doing on the land. They know how to manage it, they know the best way to go about fire ecology, they know the best way to go about land management. You can put as much science into it as you want, but at the end of the day, it all comes back to a reasonably basic structure, which is living with the land. The people that we work with, the people that we hire, the people that we put on these different programs, they always have that agenda. And I think this existing Aboriginal Learning on Country program that we're running is a perfect example.
Yeah, to me, reconciliation means a time when we focus on informing people about what happened to the Indigenous people in this country and having a new attitude to making up for the wrongs of the past. Most people don't know, and it's an educational process, and it's an awareness thing. I think reconciliation has become mainstream, so that's the good part of it, and the Indigenous people have that connection, you know, family and inheriting the responsibility of a certain bit of land, and if that system isn't in place, then the land isn't being looked after.
Do you think activities like this, like coming together in a special place like Dangali, is a good thing to do?
Brian, you have started some wonderful movement, and I commend you so much on what you've done and the spirit that you have brought to people around Salisbury with your awareness. It's just phenomenal.
So through my journey, I'm engaging with school children at schools. Okay, so here I am at the beautiful Armour Public School at Broken Hill. About to meet with a group of Year 5 and 6 class members to begin work on the Hands Across the Mallee canvas mural.
So Jai is going to be the first person to add his hand to the Hands Across the Mallee mural. I think up here in this corner, and get as close in as you can.
Take it off?
Yes? Well done. Okay, that was a great activity at Armour Public School here in Broken Hill. We've got the Hands Across the Mallee painting underway, which is great. Engaging with the schools is mostly about completing the Hands Across the Mallee canvas mural, which will, in conjunction with the little educational documentary film, will become a learning package that hopefully will explain more about the language groups between Broken Hill and Adelaide. Another fantastic school session. So the children really got into the mural. This particular group had a lot of questions, which were fun answering, and we also had a pretty good discussion about reconciliation, which is what it's all about. Was it not this morning, but yesterday morning, I was camped at a place 4 kilometres east of Magee. Got this big meeting circle here of Adelaide has got three different colours of dots. You can dot around the edge of that in the yellow if you like. See this one up here with the nice red and white dots around it? But then you get some really big dots. Well, I just finished a great session with the Cainton Primary School kids. They're a lot of fun. There's 32, I think, students in the school from reception to grade 7, and so they all participated in the reconciliation event we had there, which finished up with the mural. Some great work on the mural. All right, here we are at Linddock Primary School. My daughter went here for 7 years, Kari, and Jarrah's in his last year here now. Apparently the class is in the new hall. Yeah, you can do it in that area there, and face with the fingers facing up. I'm not sure how far I've got to go now, probably 7 kilometres, and I've got about 70 minutes. So, time to get moving, I better go. Okay, you see the emu and kangaroo and ibis cast iron cutout silhouettes here. Remnants of the Tappawadley Parry Trail.
Brian completed stage 1 of PledgeTrek on the 1st of June 2012, a trek across the Mallee from Broken Hill to Garner Park in the city of Salisbury, Adelaide. The trek took 14 days.
Probably the very first thing we should do is just acknowledge that we're on Garner land here. So the Garner people were the custodians and stewards of our environment here for tens of thousands of years and did an absolutely tremendous job. Their whole spirituality was based on a respect for nature and the land and caring for country, because they understood very well that it was that country that gave back to them and sustained them. So I think if we can continue to do good land care here in this reserve and restore the cultural trail, we're just showing our respect for the land, for the Garner people, and doing our bit towards reconciliation. We've been fortunate to have some great sponsors. Terry Plush is from Uranium One, and they came along as the gold sponsor quite early on in the piece, and just want to thank Terry and Uranium One for being great sponsors.
Yeah, Uranium One is pleased to be a gold sponsor and support Brian's Hands Across the Mallee PledgeTrek it's a long way from Broken Hill to Adelaide. You know, we recognise the challenges, the environmental and the social issues that face communities that we come in contact with, and particularly the Indigenous communities. So we have an active corporate social responsibility program, and we're happy to be able to provide some sort of sponsorship to initiatives such as this. So on behalf of our company and everybody here, congratulations, Brian, well done, great achievement.
So just want to thank all the supporters, and I'm still going to be fundraising a little bit just till the end of NAIDOC week, about the 7th of July. If anyone wants to try their hand at doing a few dots to help complete the mural, I'd love to have your assistance, and we sort of need your assistance because it's been a community effort from Broken Hill through the Riverland to Adelaide, so I need the Adelaide input. The Hands Across the Mallee mural.
Sadly, Brian was hit by a car and died while walking his dogs on the street where he lived on the 13th of June 2012, 12 days after completing his first trek.
Good evening. An inspirational environmentalist and his beloved pet dog have been killed after being hit by a car in Linddock. The father of two was in training for a trek across Australia. His family's vowed to carry on his cause.
Brian Pledger didn't just talk about great things, he did them.
You've got to get out there, get amongst it and make the change.
He was gearing up for a 3-month trek across Australia to raise awareness for the environment and Indigenous reconciliation.
He left behind a wife and 2 children, a mother and 7 brothers and sisters. I am his wife, Mary Ann. Together our family created PledgeTrek Incorporated, a charity in Brian's honour to finish what he started. We have completed stage 2, Hands Across the Ranges, a trek that took us 152 kilometres across the Flinders Ranges in 5 days. This year we'll be walking across the Yorke Peninsula from Point Pearce to Innes National Park in Hands Across the Peninsula.